In the vast expanse of an alien landscape, where the sky shimmered in hues unknown to Earth, John trudged forward with a determined gait. Despite the foreign world around him, his instincts remained sharp, honed by years of surviving in uncertain environments. He was a resourceful survivor, accustomed to adapting to the sprawling complexities of a universe where Earth had formed precarious alliances with numerous alien species. The terrain was unpredictable, but John navigated it with a confidence born of necessity, his grip tight around his last meal, a modest energy bar he knew could mean the difference between life and death. The planet's surface was dotted with towering fungi-like structures, their luminescent caps casting a surreal glow that played tricks on the eyes. Every step was calculated, each move deliberate, as John swerved around pockets of gaseous vapors venting from the ground. He was aware of the dangers such vapors posed. He'd witnessed their corrosive nature on more than one occasion. His focus was unwavering, and his resolve unshakable, as he forged a solitary path through the alien wilderness. John's journey, however, was abruptly disrupted. Ahead, amidst the chromatic flora, he spotted movement. Instinctively, he paused, his gaze narrowing as he scanned for potential threats. But what he found was not a danger, at least not in the conventional sense. Huddled against the base of one of the towering fungi was a small alien child. The creature was familiar to John. Its species, with their iridescent skin and delicate stature, were known to him through his interstellar travels, though he knew them only superficially. The child was clearly in distress. Its form was frail, and its eyes, large and expressive, spoke of hunger and desperation that transcended language barriers. John's heart stirred with conflicting emotions. He had been alone. Wanderer for so long, guided by survival instincts honed to a razor's edge. Yet, his humanity, the core of what made him John, resisted turning a blind eye to the suffering before him. He understood the implications of intervening, of sharing his meager resources. The balance between compassion and self-preservation waged a war within him, each side vying for dominance. As he stood there, torn between conflicting duties, John's mind raced through the potential consequences. He recognized the alien child species, but their customs and alliances remained shrouded in mystery to him. Earth's alliances with alien races were a tangled web of diplomacy and distrust, and any action he took could ripple through this fragile peace. Yet the child's plight was immediate, visceral, and demanded his attention. John's thoughts were punctuated by the sound of the child's faint whimpering, a sound that cut through the ambient noise of the alien world and pierced his conscience. He tightened his grip on the energy bar, feeling its texture through the wrappings. It was not just food, it was survival, hope in a material form. The symbol of his continued existence in an uncaring cosmos. With a heavy heart, John made a decision, guided less by logic and more by the innate compassion that defines human nature. He knelt beside the child and, with deliberate care, offered the last meal he had. The child's eyes widened with surprise and a glimmer of hope, the universal language of gratitude evident even without words. As John handed over the nourishment, he felt a shift within himself, a gentle reminder of the power one small act of kindness can wield in a weary world. This moment, though simple, was significant. An act of compassion reaching across species, bridging gaps defined by millennia and galaxies apart. John's choice was a silent invitation, a gesture that echoed with the potential for understanding and peace, one small action at a time. To those captivated by the intricate dance of survival and empathy among the stars, we invite you to subscribe for more tales that explore the depths of human spirit and interstellar connections. This journey is far from over. John watched as the alien child's tiny hands clutched the energy bar, their fingers trembling, not from fear but relief. The child's iridescent eyes flickered with gratitude, communicating an unspoken appreciation. In that moment, John felt an unexpected sense of purpose. He had given away his last sustenance, and although his own survival was now uncertain, the act filled him with a warmth that no amount of food could match. As the child hungrily devoured the meal, John's mind turned to the reality of their situation. He knew the risks inherent in aiding an alien of this kind. The species was known to humans, but their relations were teetering on the edge of conflict due to historical mistrust. Their past interactions were marred by misunderstandings and skirmishes that had eluded peaceful resolution. John's act of kindness, though instinctive, risked drawing unwanted attention from those who might misunderstand his intentions or see his actions as a betrayal. The gravity of his decision settled heavily on him. He needed to find a way to reach out to human or allied forces. However, the communication devices he carried were primitive by modern standards, designed for emergencies, and limited in range. His thoughts raced as he considered his options, each more fraught with peril than the last. The landscape around him, though alien, was not devoid of life or watchful eyes belonging to either side of this tense interstellar balance. With a tentative plan forming, John began scanning the area for higher ground. The towering fungi, with their bulbous structures, might offer a vantage point to signal for help or at least to get a better view of the surroundings. He cautiously approached one, testing its stability, aware each moment was precious. The child, having finished the energy bar, watched him with a quiet curiosity, perhaps sensing that John was now the one in need of intervention. Climbing the fungi was not easy, but John was adept at navigating the unpredictable environments that came with survival in such worlds. As he ascended, the vibrant colors of the alien flora became a blur, the height offering a sweeping view that was both mesmerizing and daunting. From this vantage, he could see the lay of the land, stretching out in undulating waves of color and light. But more importantly, he could search for signs of life or movement that might indicate help or danger. As his gaze swept the horizon, he noted a plume of smoke far to the north, a dark smudge against the otherwise pristine skyline. It was not natural. Rather, it suggested the presence of others, possibly a settlement or an encampment. It was a risky gamble, exposing himself and the child to unknown entities, but he had little choice. If he were to secure help for them both, he needed to take this chance. With the decision made, John descended carefully, returning to the child's side. Communication, though limited, was possible through gestures. He pointed towards the distant smoke, indicating their next destination. The child nodded, a gesture mimicked from human custom, yet so perfectly timed it felt like an understanding had passed between them. As they set off, John's mind remained vigilant. He was acutely aware of the precariousness of their situation. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the landscape. The cooling air brought with it a chill that seeped through his clothing, mirroring the cold reality of his dwindling strength and resources. Still, he moved forward, each step measured, each decision calculated. The child, walking beside him, was a constant reminder of the stakes involved, a small beacon of hope that kept his spirits from waning entirely. The tension between their species loomed large, an unseen shadow that trailed them, yet John's resolve hardened into a silent vow to see this through, to bridge the gap of mistrust with a personal sacrifice that might just spark change. Their journey was just beginning, and John, with the child close, stepped into the unknown, driven by a faith that their actions could pave the way for a brighter, more united future. The sun crested the alien horizon, casting an eerie glow over the landscape as John and the child moved cautiously towards the plume of smoke he'd identified the day before. As the day broke, a distant hum grew louder, capturing John's attention. He paused, scanning the sky, and his heart sank as he recognized the telltale outline of a human patrol ship slicing through the clouds. It was an unexpected development, and one that could spell trouble. As the ship descended, sending gusts of wind rippling through the alien foliage, John signaled for the child to stay hidden. His instincts screamed caution. Watching the vessel land, soldiers spilled out, their uniforms unmistakable against the backdrop of the alien terrain. John approached slowly, hands raised in a gesture of compliance, hoping to avoid confrontation. The soldiers' eyes locked onto him with suspicion, their postures tense, their weapons at the ready. "What are you doing here?" the leader barked, his voice carrying over the distance with authority. John, maintaining a calm facade, explained his situation, omitting the presence of the child for its protection. The soldiers seemed unimpressed, their expressions hardening as they exchanged knowing looks. John sensed the underlying tension, the unspoken judgment in their eyes. To them, his presence here was suspect, his actions potentially treasonous. Before John could further plead his case, a soldier spotted movement, a glimpse of iridescent skin peeking from behind cover. The child's presence was revealed, and the atmosphere shifted dramatically. There were murmurs among the soldiers, whispers of recognition and concern. John's heart pounded as he saw the understanding dawn on their faces. The child was not merely a lost waif, it was someone of significance, its lineage illustrious. The sergeant turned to John, his gaze now calculating. "Do you have any idea who this child is?" he asked, his tone no longer accusatory but curious. John shook his head, maintaining his resolve. He realized his act of kindness carried more weight than he'd understood. The child, from a family of importance, had inadvertently placed John at the center of a political web far more complex than he'd anticipated. It didn't take long before the soldiers communicated with their superiors, the air filled with snippets of conversation and coded transmissions. John stood resolute, his mind a whirlwind of scenarios and possibilities. He grasped that this child's welfare could alter human and alien relations profoundly, his simple act of compassion now a catalyst for potential diplomatic breakthroughs, or disasters. The soldiers, once wary, now viewed John with a mix of respect and wariness, aware of the delicate balance he had unwittingly disrupted. The sergeant, seemingly more receptive to dialogue, approached John with a new proposition. "You've done something extraordinary," he admitted, "but it complicates everything. Headquarters is involved now. We need to escort the child back to its family, and you'll need to come with us." Despite the uncertainty, John felt a strange sense of purpose. His journey, which had begun with the simple act of sharing a meal, had spiraled into a mission with far-reaching implications. He agreed to accompany them, knowing the child's safety was paramount, and that his presence could help navigate the diplomatic tightrope they were now walking. As they prepared for departure, the child remained close to John, its trust in him palpable. The soldiers, no longer mere custodians, were now part of a larger narrative that demanded cooperation and understanding. Each step forward was laden with the promise of change, a potential shift in alliances driven by compassion rather than conflict. The ship lifted off, carrying John, the child, and the soldiers toward a future yet unknown. In the vast expanse of space, where alliances were fragile and trust was a rare commodity, John's actions stood as a testament to humanity's enduring capacity for kindness. As the planet receded beneath them, the horizon stretched out, a canvas upon which a new story was set to unfold, a story of unity, hope, and the endless possibilities born from a single, selfless choice. As the ship drifted through the alien atmosphere, John sat in silence, absorbing the weight of his new reality. Around him, the soldiers were focused on their tasks, maintaining the ship's course while intermittently exchanging glances, their expressions a mix of curiosity and guarded professionalism. The child sat beside John, its eyes reflecting the light from the instrument panels, a silent participant in the unfolding events. The sergeant approached, breaking the quiet with a directness typical of his rank. "You should know," he began, his tone carrying more information than accusation now. "Helping that child might have saved us from a potential conflict." The weight of the situation was evident in his words. John nodded, realizing fully now that his decisions had inadvertently thrust him into the heart of an intricate political chess game being played out on interstellar stages. The sergeant continued, "The child's family holds significant influence, and might sway their species towards reinforcing the alliance with Earth." The implications were staggering. John had turned an act of survival into a diplomatic maneuver without a clear awareness of the far-reaching consequences. The soldiers, though still wary of him, began to view John as more than a mere wanderer. He had become a potential linchpin in maintaining interspecies peace. Caught in this unexpected role, John felt the tension rise within the confines of the ship. The soldiers didn't just carry weapons, they bore the collective hopes of humanity seeking a stable relationship with the alien races that shared the galaxy with them. His actions, though simple, had now become a critical piece of this tenuous puzzle. As the craft soared above the alien wilderness, the sergeant pointed out the window at the landscape below. These lands aren't just territories, they are symbols of power and potential unity. He mused, echoing thoughts that had been simmering in John's mind since the encounter with the child. The terrain was as much a battlefield of diplomacy as it was of survival, each decision shaping the delicate balance between war and peace. The situation called for more than just courage, it needed strategic wisdom. John, though untrained in the complexities of interstellar politics, was thrust into a role demanding both insight and instinct. The sergeant seemed to sense this internal struggle. "We're not asking you to become something you're not," he assured, acknowledging the burden. "Just stay true to the principles that led you to help in the first place." John's thoughts turned inward, grappling with the reality of his newfound responsibilities. His compassion, while natural, was now charged with new meaning. More than mere survival, his journey had transformed into one of integrity, demanding the courage to uphold values that transcended borders and species, an embodiment of the best in humanity's spirit. Their trajectory was set for a diplomatic outpost where Earth's representatives hoped to converse with the alien child's kin. The outpost, a neutral ground, represented a hopeful intersection of diverse worlds. John, with the child and the soldiers, was a harbinger of mutual understanding, a fact not lost on him as they neared their destination. The tension within the ship was palpable, each soldier silently preparing for the unfolding events. For John, every second was an opportunity for introspection, his mind a maelstrom of questions. Had his actions been truly selfless, or were they driven by the inherent human need to connect? Could this moment become a linchpin in the broader narrative of reconciliation? As the outpost came into view, a structure poised amidst the alien landscape like a beacon of hope, the child's hand reached for his. The simple gesture of trust reminded him of the pure essence of his choice, a small act of kindness extended in a moment of need. John took a deep breath, readying himself for the next phase. This mission was beyond individual heroics. It was an illustration of shared destiny. As the ship descended, John felt the weight of expectations, but also the promise of what lay ahead, a chance to bridge divides and forge a new path toward lasting peace through unity and understanding. In this pivotal moment, the ship touched down, marking the beginning of a journey that transcended mere survival, marrying compassion with the power to change worlds. John took a deep breath as the weight of the moment settled upon him. The ship's cabin hummed with subdued tension, the soldiers around him maintaining a cautious air, aware of the delicate nature of their mission. As the alien child sat quietly beside him, John felt the gravity of his next steps shifting into focus. His thoughts were interrupted by the sergeant, who approached with a look of determination worn by those accustomed to command. "You've thrown us into quite a predicament, John," the sergeant remarked, though there was no malice in his tone. "But it's a predicament that offers a unique opportunity." John nodded, aware that his actions had thrust him into an unexpected alliance with both human and alien forces. Navigating these waters required tact and a strong sense of purpose, qualities John was now called upon to embody. The sergeant outlined the situation further. "Returning the child safely is our immediate priority, but tensions remain high. We need a plan that ensures not only the child's safety but also strengthens our diplomatic ties." John's mind raced as he considered his options. Escorting the child back alone would be perilous, yet the support of the soldiers might provoke unwarranted aggression from those unfamiliar with his intentions. "You know their customs better than we do," the sergeant continued, referring to John's extensive travels among alien worlds. "We need to use that knowledge to our advantage." John took a moment, considering the landscape of possibilities before him. The soldiers might be well trained, but understanding alien diplomacy required more than military precision. It needed empathy, something he'd honed through years of navigating interstellar cultures. With resolve, John proposed a plan. "We could approach them with openness, signaling peace," he suggested, recalling the universal importance of gestures in alien relations. "If we can demonstrate our intentions are genuine, it might allay their fears and open the door for dialogue." The sergeant listened intently, weighing John's words. It was a risky maneuver, yet it held the potential for greater rewards. However, not all were convinced. Among the soldiers, Murmurs of dissent rose as some expressed doubts. What if we're seen as weak? Or worse, what if they take the child and retaliate against us? One soldier voiced, echoing the fears that lingered in the minds of many. The sergeant raised a hand to quiet the room, turning to face John with a penetrating gaze. Your plan is bold, but it has merit. The sergeant acknowledged, his tone steady. We'll move forward with caution, but we must be prepared for all outcomes. John felt a surge of determination, recognizing the gravity of his responsibility. He'd set the wheels in motion, and now he needed to ensure they led to a resolution that benefited both Earth and its new allies. Convincing the commanding officer was only the first step. Their journey held many uncertainties, yet John's steadfastness began to inspire those around him. As the sergeant rallied the troops, laying out the details of John's proposal, the atmosphere shifted towards one of cautious optimism. The soldiers, though initially skeptical, were prepared to follow John's lead, their faith reflected in their preparations. The alien child's eyes followed John's movements, a silent testament to the trust he'd fostered. John knew his actions now symbolized more than individual survival. They were a pathway to reconciliation, representing humanity's ability to transcend fear with understanding. The sergeant watched John with a newfound respect, recognizing the quiet strength that lay beneath his calm exterior. With the plan set in motion, John and the soldiers prepared for the next leg of their journey, a path fraught with peril but illuminated by the potential for peace. As they moved to depart, John took one last look at the child, its presence. A reminder of the stakes involved. Together they would attempt to write a new chapter in the annals of interstellar diplomacy. Their resolve fixed, John and his companions set forth, guided by the light of shared purpose. The path ahead was uncertain, yet with each step, they moved closer to a future where cooperation triumphed over conflict. This was only the beginning, but it was a beginning charged with hope, one that held the promise of a brighter, united tomorrow. The journey commenced with John and a small contingent of soldiers, including the sergeant, as guardians to the alien child, setting forth through an unpredictable alien landscape. The destination was the child's homeworld, a place veiled in both potential danger and hope. The terrain was formidable, a sprawling expanse of varied topography that shifted suddenly from rocky outcrops to dense, luminescent forests. As the group moved, they encountered obstacles that tested both their resolve and their adaptability. Navigating such a challenging environment required collaboration, and as they traversed the landscape, a sense of camaraderie began to develop among the soldiers. Initially divided by skepticism and cultural misunderstandings, they found unity in purpose. John, at the heart of this transformation, utilized his extensive knowledge of alien worlds to both guide and reassure his companions. He offered insights into the unique features of the terrain and warned of potential pitfalls, earning the soldiers' respect through practical wisdom and calm leadership. The group soon faced hazards in the form of treacherous ground that seemed stable yet suddenly gave way, revealing deep chasms masked by alien vegetation. John's experience and keen eye were crucial in navigating these treacherous paths, and he coached the soldiers on the nuances of the alien environment. He taught them to read subtle clues in the foliage and used the luminescent flora as a natural compass. This cooperation forged a stronger bond within the group, as the soldiers began to see John not just as an outsider, but as an essential ally. Yet the greatest challenge lay not in the land itself but in the factions that roamed it. The alien world was a kaleidoscope of territorial lines drawn by various groups, some friendly, others hostile. As night descended, the group set up a temporary camp, nestled within a protected grove of towering, bioluminescent trees. The eerie yet beautiful glow provided a semblance of security, a false sense of safety against the real threats that lurked beyond their perimeter. It wasn't long before they encountered the first faction, a group of rogue aliens whose allegiance was unknown but whose intentions were clear in their aggressive posturing. The sergeant, recognizing the need for diplomacy, deferred to John, whose knowledge of alien customs was invaluable. John stepped forward, hands raised in a non-threatening gesture, and spoke in a dialect he'd encountered during his travels. His words were carefully chosen, a blend of respect and assertion intended to convey their peaceful intentions. The tension was palpable as the aliens assessed the group, their inscrutable gazes fixed on John. Silence stretched thin before the alien leader offered a response, its voice a deep, resonant hum. Through a series of gestures and monosyllabic exchanges, John managed to convince the group of their peaceful mission. It was a delicate dance of diplomacy, one that demanded both patience and confidence. The alien faction, worried but pacified, allowed the group passage with a cautionary warning about the territories ahead. John's adept handling of the situation garnered further appreciation from the soldiers, who realized that brute force was not the answer to every problem in this complex web of interstellar relations. With tensions temporarily eased, the journey continued. The soldiers, having witnessed John's blend of courage and empathy, began to internalize the importance of these traits in their mission. As they trekked deeper into the alien world, trust grew, both within the group and with their young alien charge. The child, now more comfortable, walked freely alongside them, a symbol of their collective commitment to peace. As dawn broke, casting vibrant hues across the landscape, the group pressed on, united by their shared goal. Each step brought them closer to the child's home and the promise of fostering a new era of interspecies cooperation. John's leadership, though unexpected, had blossomed, leading his companions through uncertainty not with force, but with understanding and the hope that their journey would serve as a beacon for a more harmonious future across the stars. The tension in the air was tangible as the night deepened, shrouding their surroundings in an inky blackness punctuated only by the glow of the towering bioluminescent trees. John and the soldiers, mindful of the rogue alien's warning, kept their senses sharp. The child, finding solace beside John, had fallen into a light sleep, trusting in the quiet safety of the moment. But the peace was short-lived. The serenity of the night was shattered by an approaching threat. From the shadows emerged a band of rogue aliens, their intentions made clear with the glint of primitive weapons at the ready. John's heart raced, adrenaline surging as he stepped forward, his body language calm yet assertive. He knew confrontation could be disastrous, especially with the soldiers itching to defend the group. John's diplomatic skills were about to be tested to their limits. He took a deep breath, recalling the nuances of the alien dialect he'd used earlier. Carefully, he addressed the leader of this new group, choosing words that spoke of peace and shared survival. His voice was steady in the face of escalating tension, each phrase meticulously crafted to diffuse the situation. The alien leader cocked its head, regarding John with a mix of suspicion and curiosity. John's stance remained non-threatening, his hands open, a universal gesture of goodwill. The soldiers stood ready behind him, tense but waiting for his lead. John was acutely aware that any hint of aggression could ignite violence faster than they could contain it. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then, something shifted. The alien leader lowered its weapon slightly, gazing at its companions before uttering a deep, resonant sound. John listened intently, catching fragments of meaning, warnings of territory and respect. He nodded in understanding, acknowledging their dominion and expressing his group's intent only to pass through. His voice, though human, resonated with a sincerity that transcended the language barrier. Slowly, the air around them eased, the rogue alien's tension receding. The leader gestured, a decisive wave that indicated they could continue, but not without caution. John sighed inwardly, relief washing over him as he motioned for his group to proceed. This particular brush with danger was over, but the experience left an indelible mark on the group. The soldiers had witnessed firsthand the power of diplomacy, a tool sharper than any blade. They resumed their journey with renewed respect for John's methods, their camaraderie solidifying through shared adversity. The child, waking from its slumber, sensed the change in atmosphere and fell once more into step beside John. As dawn approached, painting the alien sky in hues of orange and teal, John took a moment to reflect. The dangers they faced were a reminder of the fine line they walked, balancing survival with the need to foster peace. His actions had not only averted immediate peril but also reinforced a critical lesson: understanding could defuse conflicts that might otherwise spiral into chaos. The path ahead lay uncharted, fraught with potential challenges and opportunities alike. Yet with each successful encounter came a deeper trust among the group. John's leadership, initially met with skepticism, now inspired a cautious optimism. The soldiers, once divided by their initial mistrust, found common ground not just with John, but with the alien child who represented the hope and unity they strived to protect. Together they pressed onward, a small yet significant alliance marching through the alien expanse. Driven by a shared vision for peace across the galaxies, they were prepared to face whatever lay beyond the horizon. In this moment, as fragile as the dawn light, their journey epitomized the potential for harmony, a testament to the enduring spirit of cooperation against the backdrop of an uncertain universe. As the journey continued through the alien terrain, the sense of an impending encounter loomed over John and the soldiers like a thick cloud. The path to the child's homeworld was fraught with tensions and uncertainties. Despite the successful navigation of previous challenges, the stakes seemed to rise with every step closer to their destination. The group moved with cautious determination, each member acutely aware of the trust and hope riding on their mission's success. The tension among the soldiers and their alien charge remained palpable, yet there was an unspoken bond forming among them. These shared experiences, filled with danger and opportunities for understanding, began to weave a subtle tapestry of unity. As the soldiers grew more accustomed to their surroundings and to John's leadership, they also found themselves increasingly receptive to the child's silent presence, an embodiment of their collective purpose. As they neared the borders of the alien homeworld, the landscape began to change once again. The natural beauty of the terrain seemed to intensify, with vibrant flora swaying gently in an alien breeze, a marked contrast to the harsh realities of their journey. Yet this beauty belied the potential perils that lay in wait. As if confirming their fears, movement was soon detected by the scouts ahead, sending ripples of alertness through the group. In the distance, the figures of another alien faction emerged. This time, however, the intentions were not immediately hostile. The aliens bore insignias of a faction known for their diplomacy, a rare beacon of hope in a volatile region. John recognized them from his travels, their features and attire indicative of their status as mediators among the warring tribes. Their presence was unexpected but welcome, suggesting a possible alliance that could aid in their mission. John approached the leader of this alien faction with cautious optimism, initiating contact with the few diplomatic phrases he remembered. The soldiers behind him, though wary, allowed John to take the lead, their respect for his approach evident. The alien leader, a figure of dignified bearing, responded with gestures of openness, indicating a willingness to communicate and perhaps more. Through a series of exchanges, it became apparent that this faction had observed their journey. They were intrigued by the human's presence and the child's significance. The leader, speaking through a melodic yet commanding voice, offered assistance in reaching the child's family. This unexpected alliance was a turning point, a possible easing of tensions that had threatened to overshadow their mission. Grateful yet guarded, John accepted the offer, ensuring that their intentions were aligned. The aliens' understanding of the terrain and its perils would be invaluable, and their presence might assuage any fears from the child's family upon their approach. The soldiers, witnessing this development, found themselves buoyed by the prospect of an accord, their initial apprehensions giving way to cautious optimism. As the journey resumed, the dynamics within the group shifted once more. The presence of their new allies injected a sense of renewed energy and purpose. Through shared experiences and mutual respect, the barriers began to dissolve, revealing the possibility of a lasting partnership. John, reflecting on these events, realized the profound impact of trust, fragile yet powerful enough to bridge even the widest of divides. With each step closer to their destination, the group's resolve strengthened. Communication between the humans and their alien counterparts became more fluid, the exchange of knowledge enriching their journey. The soldiers, once skeptical of John's methods, now embraced the lessons of patience and understanding, recognizing the power of empathy over aggression. As they approached the borders of the alien homeworld, their path illuminated by the soft glow of alien lights, John felt a shift within himself. This journey had transformed him and those around him, proving that even in the face of uncertainty, unity could forge a path toward peace. Together they moved forward, their hearts and minds set on the promise of reconciliation, ready to face whatever awaited them at the threshold of a new era. The proximity of their destination weighed heavily on John and the group as they advanced, each step more deliberate than the last. The alien child's homeworld was now within reach, raising both anticipation and anxiety. The child's demeanor had shifted too, its eyes betraying a mix of homecoming excitement and trepidation, as if sensing the profound consequences of their arrival. The newfound allies, aliens from a diplomatic faction, moved with ease across the terrain, their presence bolstering the group's morale. As they navigated the final leg of their journey, the child began to open up, revealing tidbits of valuable information to John. This wasn't just a homecoming. The child's family was deeply involved in peace negotiations that could reshape alliances and mitigate long-standing tensions between humans and this particular alien species. John absorbed this revelation with a growing realization of the journey's significance. The child's importance was not just familial, it was geopolitical, potentially pivotal in bridging divides that had persisted for generations. This knowledge redefined their mission from one of mere survival to a vital diplomatic enterprise. The stakes were higher than he had imagined, involving the futures of multiple worlds. As they trekked through the otherworldly landscape, preparing for resistance upon arrival, John couldn't help but feel a mix of apprehension and determination. The terrain around them transformed, indicative of their proximity to the alien homeworld. Delicate bioluminescent plants lined their path, casting an ethereal glow that seemed to guide them forward. The contrast between the beauty of the surroundings and the looming challenge served as a reminder of the delicate balance they sought to achieve. Upon reaching the outskirts of the alien city, John and the soldiers prepared for potential confrontation. The atmosphere was electric with the possibility of conflict, yet underpinned by a shared hope for resolution. The soldiers tightened their formations, conscious of the symbolic nature of their presence here. Their resolve, honed through both training and recent experiences, fortified them against the unknown. John gathered the group, outlining their approach. Their aim was to convey peaceful intentions without undermining their readiness to defend themselves if necessary. The soldiers, now seasoned in the art of diplomacy as much as warfare, understood the dual nature of their mission. Trust was their weapon as much as any armament they carried. The alien allies, integral to this delicate balancing act, took the lead in heralding their presence. These diplomats were known for their eloquence and calm demeanor, traits that they now employed to introduce the group to the unfamiliar world before them. Their presence lent credibility to the human contingent, softening the initial skepticism of the alien guards stationed at the city's entrance. As the group moved toward the city, John noticed a shift in the alien child's bearing. The child seemed to draw on an inner strength, stepping forward to stand beside John as they advanced. This act, simple yet profound, transformed the dynamics of the encounter. It was a universal demonstration of unity, signaling trust and alliance across species. The child's confidence inspired John, who felt the weight of their journey bearing down on him. It was a perfect demonstration of what they hoped to achieve, a synthesis of human compassion and alien resilience, leading to understanding and cooperation. As they reached the city's gateway, the guards' apprehensions appeared to ease, their postures shifting from defensive to inquisitive. John, relying on the diplomatic exchanges honed during their travels, added his voice to the diplomatic dialogue, underscoring their peaceful mission. His words, backed by the presence of the child and their alien allies, resonated with a sincerity and conviction that began to chip away at the remaining barriers. The tension gradually ebbed, replaced by a cautious curiosity. The guards, acknowledging the child's significance, granted the group passage. John's heart swelled with a mixture of relief and anticipation, aware that this was just the beginning of a more extensive discourse, one that could redefine interstellar relations for generations to come. With a nod of gratitude to their alien allies, John led the group into the city. The path ahead promised challenges, yet it also held the potential for profound change, fueled by the shared desires for peace and understanding. As they entered, John knew their journey was pivotal, not just for those they represented but for all who sought a future marked by unity rather than division. They were poised at the threshold of history, ready to contribute to an era of reconciliation and hope. As dawn broke over the alien homeworld, its vibrant hues reflected a new day and the potential for peace. John stood at the forefront of his group, a blend of human soldiers and their newfound alien allies, as they approached the formidable gates that marked the entry to the alien city. The path they had walked to reach this moment was fraught with danger, but it was also underlined by an unrelenting resolve to bridge worlds and heal old wounds. The child at John's side, an emblem of their mission, exuded a newfound confidence. Its presence was a silent proclamation of their purpose, an effort to create a dialogue that could redefine interspecies relations. As they neared the gates, the air crackled with anticipation, the guards peering at them from atop the fortifications, their expressions a mix of skepticism and curiosity. The tension from the city seemed to reach out and grip the group, a reminder of the high stakes waiting within. John, flanked by the sergeant and the diplomatic aliens who had joined their cause, moved with deliberate calmness. His heart pounded with the knowledge that each step forward resonated with historical weight. Here, they faced the challenge of dismantling long-held suspicions and embracing the possibility of a shared future. The road ahead was daunting, but he was guided by the subtle strength of the child and the encouragement of those who believed in their mission. At the gates, the alien guards stood poised, their postures at once defensive and enigmatic. The atmosphere was charged with a palpable tension that demanded careful negotiation. Here, the group's combined effort would be tested, requiring the precise balance of diplomacy and resolve that John had cultivated throughout their journey. The alien diplomats, seasoned in the art of negotiation, took the lead in initiating contact. Their voices, melodic and steady, rang out in the alien tongue, crafting a narrative of unity and shared endeavor. Their words wove a vision of cooperation, acknowledging the significance of the child's presence and the hope it symbolized. John, understanding the cultural nuances, added his voice to theirs, emphasizing the sincerity of their peaceful intentions. The child's family, whose position in peace negotiations had been pivotal, represented more than personal reunion. They were key players in averting conflict and forging enduring alliances. The knowledge of their potential influence had driven John and his group through perilous landscapes to this decisive moment. It was not merely geography they had traversed but the deep-seated divides of mistrust. As the guards listened, the initial skepticism began to give way. John's diplomatic skills, coupled with the presence of the child, subtly shifted the tone of the interaction. The guards, whose duty was to safeguard their world, found themselves caught in the human sincerity and the reflective composure of the child. The line between caution and curiosity blurred, and the tension that had shadowed their approach slowly dissipated. The guards lowered their weapons, the barriers of misunderstanding beginning to crumble as they signaled for the gates to be opened. Their acknowledgement of the child's significance marked a turning point, easing tensions that had run deep for too long. As the gates swung open, the group was met with a sight that held both promise and challenge, a bustling city teeming with life and diversity, yet underpinned by a fragile peace. The soldiers followed John, their resolve firm, hopeful that their journey had paved the way toward reconciliation. John, walking beside the child, knew they stood on the threshold of a new era. This was the culmination of a journey marked by courage and empathy, defining moments of humanity's capacity for connection across alien divides. As they proceeded into the city, past the threshold that had once seemed insurmountable, there was unity in their stride and hope mirrored in their hearts. The promise of peace was no longer an ideal. It was a tangible reality within reach, a testament to the power of small acts of kindness igniting change. They advanced into the city, knowing their role in history was only just beginning, as architects of a future that embraced unity and understanding across the stars. The reunion was overwhelming, marked not by grand gestures but by the subtle, profound exchange of gazes between the alien child and its family. For John, standing on the sidelines, watching the interplay of emotions, it was a moment of quiet triumph. The child's mother, a figure of delicate strength, enveloped her offspring in a protective embrace, her iridescent skin shimmering under the alien sun. There was a palpable shift in the atmosphere, a collective exhalation of relief that resonated through the group. John observed the scene, feeling a surge of fulfillment mingled with a sense of disbelief at how far they had come. The journey had been fraught with danger, and yet, this moment seemed to erase the shadows of their peril, if only briefly. The child's family, significant figures within the alien political hierarchy, had been crucial in peace negotiations, and their reunion symbolized more than familial bonds. It was a hopeful nudge toward a future devoid of conflict. The alien diplomats who had accompanied John stepped forward, engaging in discussions with the child's family. Their silhouettes, cast against the vibrant backdrop of the alien city, spoke of bridges being built quietly, methodically. John, his role momentarily paused, allowed himself to reflect on the impact of compassion over conflict. It was extraordinary how a simple act of kindness, giving his last meal to a starving child, had spiraled into a larger narrative with the power to influence interstellar relations. The sergeant, standing beside John, broke his introspection with a steady pat on the back. "Well, it seems you've done more than survive this time, John," he remarked with a tone that balanced respect and camaraderie. John nodded, acknowledging the truth in his words, the enormity of what they'd achieved settling upon him. His actions had turned the tide, not through force but through understanding, a testament to the unyielding spirit of humanity. While discussions unfolded among the diplomatic entities, John's mind lingered on the broader implications of their mission. The ripple effect of their journey could not be overstated. Relationships between humans and this alien species had teetered on the brink of hostility for years. Now, with the child's safe return and the visible willingness for dialogue, the political climate was shifting toward reconciliation. As the sun dipped lower, casting elongated shadows across the exotic landscape, John found himself approached by the child's mother. Her expression, though alien, was imbued with a universal language of gratitude. In her hands she held a small artifact, its design intricate, pulsing with an inner light. With a silent grace she offered it to John, a symbol of goodwill, a tangible reminder of what his compassion had wrought. John accepted the gift with reverence, understanding its significance. This was more than a token, it was a bridge between worlds. The weight of the moment was not lost on him, nor on the soldiers who had shared his journey. The artifact was a piece of history, one that might pave the way for future generations to walk a path of peace, unmarred by the mistakes of their predecessors. As evening settled, enveloping the alien city in a serene dusk, John contemplated the choice he'd made, driven by an innate human compassion that reached beyond himself. He saw the potential for lasting change, inspired by the connection forged in the unlikeliest of circumstances. This was not the end, but rather a beginning, a new chapter for humanity and their place in the cosmos. Together, humans and aliens stood at the threshold of possibility, with John, the unlikely ambassador of empathy, at its heart. The journey had reshaped perceptions, bridging divides not just of worlds but of ideologies. In the quiet embrace of twilight, John glimpsed a future luminous with hope, one where small acts of kindness could chart the course of entire galaxies. The echoes of the day's pivotal events lingered in John's mind as he navigated the bustling streets of the alien city. The reunion of the child with its family had been a powerful symbol, its ripples felt not just in the surrounding community, but also in the diplomatic circles eager to seize the opportunity for peace. Even as the city's inhabitants began to take notice of the human visitors, John sensed a subtle shift in the air, a cautious optimism replacing the prevailing tension. With the child's safety assured, a new focus emerged, the need for structured discussions between human and alien representatives to forge a lasting truce. The process was complex and fraught with historical grievances, yet the presence of the child, a living testament to the potential for cooperation, served as a catalyst for both sides. John, now recognized for his initial act of kindness and his role in the subsequent journey, found himself at the center of these delicate negotiations. In a large chamber within the alien city's administrative center, human delegates, including senior military personnel and diplomatic envoys, assembled alongside their alien counterparts. The room was a blend of architectural styles, where human efficiency met the ethereal beauty of alien design, showcasing the potential for harmony. As discussions began, John observed the interplay of languages and customs, feeling the weight of their mission settling on his shoulders. Throughout the talks, John's insights into alien culture became invaluable. He shared his understanding not as an expert diplomat but as someone who had experienced the importance of empathy firsthand. His observations, rooted in genuine encounters and the lessons learned from the journey, lent a unique perspective that bridged gaps traditional diplomacy often struggled to overcome. As the hours passed, the complexity of the dialogue deepened. Both parties worked to outline a framework for peace, focusing on mutual interests such as trade, cultural exchange, and shared security concerns. The alien leaders, swayed by the symbolic gesture of returning the child, expressed a willingness to explore these avenues. It was a delicate balancing act, each side wary of overstepping, yet committed to progress. John's role had evolved from a simple traveler to a conduit for understanding, a beacon reminding all involved of the humanity at the heart of their mission. He became increasingly engaged, offering solutions that emphasized collaboration over confrontation. The dialogue was challenging, but the foundational trust established during their journey provided a solid base for the negotiations. As the discussions reached a pivotal moment, those gathered deliberated the potential establishment of a joint council to oversee future interactions. This proposal, ambitious yet promising, opened the floor to broader conversations about formalizing relationships and ensuring sustained communication between the species. John listened intently, contributing ideas that emphasized transparency and respect for cultural differences, principles that had guided him throughout his journey. Outside the chamber, the city thrived, its citizens going about their lives, aware of the historic decisions being made within. The presence of John and his companions had not gone unnoticed. It had sparked curiosity and conversations among the populace, planting seeds of a broader understanding. The roads they walked, once laden with skepticism, now seemed pathways to potential unity. As the day's negotiations drew to a close, a sense of cautious hope permeated the room. While many details remained unresolved, the foundation for sustained peace was being laid. The simple act of sharing a meal, providing comfort to a child, had set in motion a series of events that now defined this moment in history. John, standing on the threshold of these new beginnings, felt a profound sense of purpose. He had become more than a witness to change. He was an active participant in crafting a more interconnected future. The path ahead was uncertain, full of complexities and challenges, but it was also illuminated by the promise of what compassion could achieve. As night settled over the alien city, John reflected on the day's events, aware that their journey was far from complete. The discussions would continue, and with them, the opportunity to forge stronger bonds and redefine the nature of interstellar relations. John, the accidental diplomat, walked forward with a newfound resolve, committed to nurturing the delicate peace that now flickered with genuine potential. As John absorbed the significance of the ongoing diplomatic exchanges within the alien city, an air of optimism started to seep into the interactions between the human and alien representatives. The alien child's family, influential figures in peace negotiations, had extended their gratitude to John and the soldiers for ensuring the child's safe return. In a private ceremony, marked by an air of solemnity and importance, they presented John with an ornate artifact. This token of goodwill, crafted with exquisite alien artistry, glowed with a soft luminescence, symbolizing the hope for enduring peace and the bridging of two worlds. The artifact was more than a simple token, it was a pledge of alliance, a tangible reminder of their shared journey. It stood as a testament to the power of empathy and cross-cultural understanding, representing the potential for unity that lay before them. This gesture, though simple, resonated deeply with John. He accepted it with a profound sense of humility, aware of the historical weight it carried and the promise it held for future relations. The child's family offered more than thanks. They provided insights into their societal structure, revealing a complex web of connections that John and his companions could now tap into. They expressed their desire to work closely with humans to facilitate exchanges that could benefit both societies. This was a pivotal moment, one that extended beyond the walls of the city, hinting at the vast possibilities that empathy and cooperation could unlock. Reflecting on the unfolding events, John realized that his initial compassion, the simple act of sharing his last meal, had catalyzed this broader mission. His actions had not only altered his own path but had also become a catalyst for change at a much grander scale. The artifact in his possession was a beacon, illuminating a new pathway, one that could redefine interstellar cooperation. As discussions continued inside the chamber, John took a moment to breathe in the atmosphere of the city. The architecture around him, a blend of alien aesthetics and functionality, spoke of a society that valued beauty and resilience. Despite the challenges they had faced, the city thrived, its people echoing a cautious, hopeful curiosity about the visitors in their midst. John's mind wandered to the potential legacy of their mission. The child's family's influence extended far and wide, and their endorsement of peaceful coexistence could ripple outward, touching worlds beyond immediate perception. This nascent alliance, born from a simple act of kindness, carried implications for the galaxy's future, anchored by mutual respect and a shared vision for peace. The sergeant, sensing John's introspection, approached and placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We've come a long way, John," he said, his voice tinged with respect. "And it seems like this is just the beginning." John nodded, the truth of the sergeant's words resonating with him. The journey had indeed been transformative, not just for him but for everyone involved. The soldiers who had once been skeptical of his decisions now saw the wisdom in his actions. With the groundwork for peace laid, discussions gradually shifted focus towards more concrete plans for future collaborations. Proposals for cultural exchanges, trade agreements, and joint scientific endeavors began to take shape, each one a stepping stone toward building a more interconnected galaxy. John's role, once that of a mere passerby, had evolved into that of a key facilitator. As night descended over the alien city, the luminescent buildings glowed softly, a mirror of the hope that now permeated their mission. John stood quietly, the artifact cradled in his hands, a reminder of what compassion could achieve. His thoughts turned toward the future, imagining the rich tapestry of experiences and understanding that awaited. He realized that while this chapter was drawing to a close, the true journey was ongoing. Every step taken had been a testament to the power of empathy, and the human spirit's ability to transform even the most daunting of challenges into opportunities for connection. This was not merely a fleeting encounter but a pathway that could redefine humanity's place among the stars. With resolve, John prepared to continue fostering these newfound relationships, ready to embrace the shared challenges and triumphs that lay ahead. The promise of a united future glowed as brightly as the artifact he held, a future forged in trust, hope, and the enduring power of kindness. The dawn of a new alliance began to take shape as John stood amidst the bustling alien city, a mix of relief and anticipation swirling within him. The completion of their mission in returning the child safely was celebrated not only as a personal victory but as a symbol of the budding reconciliation between humans and this previously enigmatic alien race. The artifact gifted to John rested in his hands, glowing softly, a tangible endorsement of peace and solidarity. As the human and alien leaders reconvened for further discussions, the air was filled with a different kind of energy. Where once suspicion had loomed, now there was a cautious willingness to engage in dialogue. The alien child's family had taken center stage, their influence pivotal in easing long-standing tensions. John, an unlikely diplomat, found himself woven into these discussions, his insights gleaned from the journey a valuable thread in the tapestry of negotiation. The meeting chamber buzzed with the layered hum of multiple languages and the nuanced gestures of understanding. Human delegates, acknowledging the gravity of this historic encounter, entrusted John with a key role. His perspective, unfettered by protocol and grounded in empathy, had become an unforeseen asset. He spoke of the journey, the perils faced and the courage found in unity, emphasizing the shared vulnerability that connected all sentient beings. As plans for a formal alliance unfolded, John observed the remarkable interplay of cultures. The humans proposed initiatives for cultural exchanges, scientific collaborations, and trade agreements, while the aliens brought their own philosophies of coexistence and sustainability to the table. Each proposal was met with thoughtful consideration, the discussions embodying the potential for a richer, more harmonious future. Outside the chamber, the city itself seemed to mirror the transformative atmosphere. The streets, lined with a variety of alien flora, were alive with the chatter of citizens, curious about the new possibilities that the human visitors represented. John took a moment to step outside, breathing in the crisp air, and gazed out over the alien metropolis. The architecture, a stunning blend of organic shapes and engineering marvels, represented a society both resilient and thriving. The sergeant joined him, his presence a steady anchor amidst the whirlwind of change. "You've done good, John," he said, his voice carrying a note of quiet pride. "It's not often we see the beginning of history being rewritten before our eyes." John nodded, feeling the truth in those words. The journey had been arduous, filled with uncertainty, yet here they stood on the brink of transformation. Meanwhile, the child's influence extended beyond mere representation. Its presence, a living testament to hope, continued to bridge gaps, its innocence and resilience reminding all of the stakes involved. Within the conference room, discussions grew more ambitious, with talks touching on the potential for a council to oversee future interspecies interactions. This council, if realized, would stand as a beacon for peaceful coexistence across the galaxy. As the day wore on, the dialogue shifted toward implementing practical measures to solidify the budding alliance. Agreements on resource sharing, technology exchange, and joint education initiatives began to take form, each one a step toward greater cooperation. John, contributing his experiences and observations, underscored the importance of building trust through transparency and continued interaction. As evening descended, painting the city in hues of deep indigo and violet, the initial framework for a truce was established, a fragile yet promising foundation upon which to build. The artifact, now a symbol of union, was placed in a prominent hall, where it could inspire future generations to continue the legacy of peace. John, reflecting on the day's achievements, understood that while the path ahead was fraught with challenges, it was also illuminated by the light of mutual understanding. The journey of bridging worlds had just begun, with him as both participant and witness to this profound moment in history. With a renewed sense of purpose, John prepared to step forward, ready to nurture the fragile bonds of trust and carry the mission of unity into the boundless future that awaited. In the heart of the alien city, discussions thrummed with the shared momentum of a hopeful future. John stood amidst this convergence, his presence an unexpected bridge between worlds. The strains of multiple languages filled the chamber, forming a rich tapestry of potential cooperation. Here, at this critical juncture, the formal peace talks were beginning, each word uttered a brick in the foundation of a new alliance. The child's safe return had been pivotal, its family's gratitude a catalyst for these burgeoning negotiations. Relieved, yet conscious of the importance of his role, John contributed his insights, gained from a journey marked by shared challenges and unexpected camaraderie. His words carried the weight of experiences that resonated across both human and alien representatives, emphasizing mutual respect and the power of shared understanding. The artifact nestled beside him, pulsed gently, a reminder of the delicate balance they sought to preserve. It had become a symbol of the union between their two species, a beacon of hope that anchored the discussions. As talks progressed, the alien leaders laid out pathways for collaboration, proposing cultural exchanges and scientific endeavors that promised to enrich both civilizations. The mood in the room shifted as the dialogue turned toward establishing a joint council. This body would oversee future interactions and address any arising conflicts, ensuring a framework for lasting peace. Human delegates voiced support, their expressions hopeful as they grasped the magnitude of what was unfolding. John's voice added depth to these plans, advocating for transparency and continuous dialogue as the cornerstones of their nascent alliance. Beyond the chamber, the city itself seemed to embody this spirit of renewal. Citizens of all kinds moved through the streets, their gazes curious, their conversations interwoven with hope for what the future might hold. It was as if the entire city was waking up to the potential of a shared destiny, one that extended beyond the confines of their worlds. As the hours passed, the negotiations solidified. Agreements were drafted, outlining cooperative ventures in technology and education. These documents, though merely ink and parchment, represented concrete steps toward a united future. John's role as a mediator, one who understood the nuances of both cultures, proved invaluable. His contributions were a testament to the power of individual acts of kindness, rippling outward to foster change on a grand scale. The sergeant, observing from the periphery, met John's gaze with a nod of acknowledgement. "You've turned a simple act into something far greater," he remarked quietly, a touch of admiration in his voice. John felt the gravity of those words settle over him, understanding that their mission had only just begun. As the day drew to a close, the artifact was prominently displayed in a hall designated for future peace conferences. Its glow reflected the collective effort of those dedicated to bridging divides and nurturing this fragile alliance. It stood as both a conclusion and a beginning, a reminder of the shared aspirations that now guided them. John, reflecting on the journey, understood that the road ahead remained daunting. The peace established here was only as strong as their ongoing commitment to understanding and empathy. Yet he was buoyed by the knowledge that they had laid a promising foundation, built on trust and the shared hope for a peaceful coexistence. As the sun dipped below the alien horizon, casting the city in hues of twilight, John felt a renewed sense of purpose. The burden of responsibility he shouldered was tempered by the promise of what lay ahead, a future where cooperation triumphed over conflict, forged by a journey marked by resilience and empathy. With resolve, he prepared to continue his role as both diplomat and witness, eager to see the fruits of their labor flourish. The journey of unity, initiated by a simple gesture, was far from over. It stretched beyond the immediate horizon, a path defined by the potential for peace that now whispered across the stars, inviting all to embark upon it.